Hello, everyone. Very excited to be able to cover an important topic, a topic, in fact, I think most of you are probably not fully taking advantage of today around email marketing. Specifically, we're going to talk about the top 5 email marketing strategies that law firms should not be missing in 2022. We have a lot of exciting, very helpful information today. So let's get started. More than likely, most of us, when we wake up in the morning, we're immediately reaching for our phones. And what are we doing? We're picking up our phones. Many of us are checking our email. It's one of the first activities we're doing to start our days, whether that be work-related emails or updates, personal emails. Maybe it's just checking out what news is around or available. Maybe it's looking for the next big deal, but most of us are reaching for those phones first thing in the morning. It has become part of us. It's our DNA, that phone. And what's on that phone? Email. It's one of the most consumed apps on a phone today. So we have to continue to move with the market as marketers, especially as law firms. Where are your prospective clients? Where are your clients spending time? Email is a big common platform. Because email is so much more a part of the way of life for most of us, using email marketing is also a critical business tool. Unfortunately, the way social media has taken hold, most law firms, including most businesses across the country, are opting to use social media channels instead of focusing on email marketing. Now, I would say that it shouldn't be an either or. It ideally should be both. You should be considering how can I get in front of my prospective clients, my existing clients, in as many platforms as possible. Email marketing should not be neglected in that consideration. But that means that email marketing is a big and often missed opportunity for law firms in an effort to get their message out, to get their brand consistently in the minds of their prospective clients in their marketplace. Before we dive in, let's quickly walk through really the power behind using email marketing for a business. The future continues to look extremely promising despite how long email marketing has been around. HubSpot, very well-known company, they found that 37% of brands as of today are currently increasing their email marketing budget. That's a pretty considerable percentage of the marketplace who are now entertaining the idea of email marketing. But more importantly, email marketing revenue is estimated to reach nearly $11 billion by the end of 2023. We have this graph that illustrates the anticipated revenue, worldwide revenue from email marketing. They're suggesting in US dollars, they're suggesting that by 2027, the email marketing industry will reach nearly $18 billion as an industry. That is incredible. There's serious money being poured into this platform, and you shouldn't just turn a blind eye to it. I would encourage you to spend some time entertaining this concept for how it can ultimately support your client base and in turn support your own business. Because of the future of email marketing looking so encouraging and promising, let's work through these 5 strategies so that you can begin to consider what are some of these necessary steps to take in considering this, but also what are some things to be thinking about to have in place as you begin an email marketing strategy. Number 1 is making sure you have the strategy in place. Strategy is everything. You've heard us suggest in prior educational events that the why behind every marketing concept should be first considered. Start with why. So here's the 4 essential steps to creating an email strategy. We're going to work through these together. Again, feel free to drop any comments or questions as you have thoughts. Like anything in life, you're going to want to work, or rather plan your work before you work your plan. Again, starting with the end in mind. And when it comes to emails, it goes like this. You start by outlining your goals. What is it that you're trying to achieve with email marketing? Is the purpose of your email marketing to produce viable leads, people responding to the email or filling out contact forms after they see your emails? Is it instead more so to position you or certain attorneys within your office as specific experts around certain subject matters within your practice? Is it just simply to get more brand exposure for you, remaining top of mind in the marketplace? It may be a combination of those. It may be something completely different. But starting with that first will ultimately allow you to begin to formulate strategy. Once you have that, Then you can begin brainstorming strategies, whether that's with a group like ConsultWebs, whether that's with people within your firm. Consistency is key in email marketing. Remember that. It's not just a one and done type effort. It's a process to be building. I spoke with Ken Hardison over at Pilma just a couple of days ago, and he referenced that he sees a lot of his mastermind members jumping out of newsletter marketing or email marketing well before the first year, and he believes that's way premature. You need a process to stay in front and to remain consistent, and if you're not doing that, you're never going to see the maximum value of email marketing. Consider whether you want to send emails each month, each week. What kind of intervals are you looking at? Who's going to oversee the whole process? Consider the stages, the planning, the execution, the analysis once emails are being sent out. Who's going through a post-mortem process of evaluating what went well and what didn't go as well as planned? Having champions behind each stage will add accountability to this process and will ultimately help you maximize the results faster than just a set it and forget it type strategy. You'll want to consider the logistics, all of these logistics, before ultimately setting this up and running with it. So consider those points. You also want to consider the content. Who's producing the content? What's the content going to look like? This is really where the bulk of email marketing time is spent, in producing the content, brainstorming the content. Consider these few questions. Are you trying to educate your clients through email? Are you trying to maybe notify them of a recent update, a recent verdict or a settlement, or maybe there's some legislative changes coming about that you want to notify the market, maybe be the first to educate the market around a certain topic? These are all great ways to get the wheels turning and considering which content is going to serve your clients or the recipients the best. And then you want to create a posting calendar. We talk about the concept of a editorial or a content calendar all the time when planning out marketing strategies. Well, the same is true with email marketing. This is, again, something that elevates the accountability in this process. You begin to plan out what you want to tell your clients specifically and then when you want to release that information. It just aligns everyone who's involved in this process and ultimately allows it to be significantly more efficient. So let's move on to the second point. Once you've worked through strategy and you have clear direction, a very clear target that everyone is aiming at, now you want to consider automation. What is automation? We believe that every strategy with relation to email should have an automation component. You should at least consider the idea of, if I'm going to do this once, how can I replicate this or automate this going forward to save my firm time and money? Very, very important, and why email marketing is so valuable. So to reach people with the right message at the right time, your emails have to be, ideally, they are linked, for example, to a contact form on your website, or there's some type of action to drive them. And then in an ideal situation, every form submission should then trigger some series of nurturing emails. We often call this drip emails. So it's like basically dripping content over time that's very focused content around that prospective client's needs. It's going to help them in their process or in their journey. And depending on what that topic is related to, naturally the content is going to vary. But thinking through that will allow you to come up with a series of content that's going to be helpful, educational, and ultimately winning confidence for your firm. That is a big goal, a big benefit of all of this, is winning confidence, allowing your firm to be seen as the expert, which naturally will increase leads and cases over time. Moving on to point 3, we've worked through strategy, then automation. Now email segmentation is what you want to consider. This is what's going to help your automated email sequencing, because it begins to essentially group or bucket up your full contact list into very specific categories. Unfortunately, most firms are skipping this important step. More importantly, the idea here is that you don't have to accomplish this right away. You can get started rather simply, but be working toward this concept of segmentation. Don't miss this long-term step in email marketing, because you'll receive significant value from this effort. To reach people with the right message, you're going to need to start to divide your contact list into those buckets or groups. Now, I'll give you a couple examples, but you may have very unique situation within the firm, and you can begin to categorize based on what's right for your firm and your clientele. New prospective clients or potential new clients, ones that you're pursuing to sign up, that should be a category in and of itself. It's a phenomenal way to increase your sign-up rates through automated emails. Very, very important, and definitely a category worth segmenting. Others may be existing clients. If you're encouraging reviews back to your Google business profile, or maybe you're encouraging referrals. Maybe you are wishing someone a happy holiday, whatever's coming up. That's a great list to segment as well. There could be previous case types. Maybe you handle certain mass tort cases and there's a new mass tort on the rise that you want to then segment that previous list and reach out to them with this new mass tort that you're pursuing. So again, this is going to be unique to every law firm, but starting to categorize and group up those contacts will be important. Now, you can still have your main list, your master list, and do email marketing to that master list. But again, the more refined it is, the more refined your messaging and your content will be. And in turn, the more effective those emails will be. All right, let's keep moving. Moving into step 4 here. This is around A/B testing. If you've never heard the concept of A/B testing, it's essentially testing one variation against another variation and looking to determine a winner, the most effective variant. And so when it comes to email marketing, testing different email marketing strategies is naturally going to lead you to a more effective approach, higher return on investment, which is what we're all as marketers aiming for. You want to know what's working, and you're never going to determine what's working unless you're truly testing and diagnosing what's ultimately resonating with your client list. A few technical tips you may want to keep in mind here with respect to A/B testing. First and foremost, make sure you're only changing one variable at a time. This is so important because you can send, one version and then turn around and rewrite all of the copy, change the color, change the photos, and put that up there. And you're truly never going to understand what influenced the effectiveness of the winner. By only changing one variation, you can quickly determine what it is that's working. It could be as simple as the call to action within the email. It could be the subject line, which is a very important one to test. It very well may be the color of a contact form or a contact button on the email. Keep it simple there, test one variation, choose the winner, and continue to iterate over time. Regardless of that, no matter what, always remember that that mobile is the most common device accessing email, so you have to ensure that your emails are mobile friendly. Huge no-no to not consider this before releasing emails to dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people. That's very, very important. Also, I've stressed this before, but keeping the email simple is important. All too often we see very, very long form emails, and the truth is very few people are spending time reading from top to bottom that entire email. Keep it simple, add clear calls to actions within that email, and focus on only 1 to 2 links within that email. Don't go crazy linking all over the website or linking all over the web. Keep it focused to a maximum of 2 links out. Very important. And then last but not least, adhere to the email laws and the regulations, which leads to the most important point, which is point 5, and that is email compliance. Understand the CAN-SPAM Act. The CAN-SPAM Act law, if you've never heard of it, is a law that sets the rules for any commercial business and any commercial emails being sent within the United States. The reality is that a non-compliant email that you release as a business can be extremely costly, and they're subject to some significant fines, penalties of up to $46,000 or more. So this is very important. Know the CAN-SPAM Act, know what strategy is being ran on your behalf if you're outsourcing this to another group. All emails need to adhere to these 7 rules. Never use false or misleading header information. For example, your from or your to or your reply to, any routing information. All of that needs to be accurate. Do not mislead the recipient of that email. Also, hopefully it goes without saying, but don't use deceptive subject lines. You're not trying to trick someone into opening up the email. The subject line must accurately reflect what content it is that you're delivering. If this is your brand, this is your reputation, treat this very seriously. Are you advertising? Most likely, yes, you're advertising. And in turn, you must disclose clearly and conspicuously that your message is an advertisement in that email. You need to include your physical postal address, your main office address there in the email. And you also want to make it really easy to show recipients how to opt out of receiving any future emails if they so choose. Make that very visible at the bottom of the email. You want to honor any opt-out requests promptly as well. In fact, you need to do that by law within 10 days if somebody opts out. And the last big point here, the tip, would be monitor what others are doing on your behalf. All too often, busy lawyers just get in a habit of stroking a check to another vendor, and they're not evaluating and really learning what's working, what's not, and understanding the strategy. I know that takes more time. I know it requires more energy. This is so important. The law makes it very clear that if you hire another company to handle your email marketing, you can't contract away your legal responsibility to comply with the law. You need to know that they're staying in tune with the CAN-SPAM Act and doing everything possible to take care of your brand in this process. You will see tremendous value if you build this into a consistent marketing strategy for your law firm. Hopefully this has been encouraging for you. It's given you some of the right information and tools to get this process started. I'd be more than happy to answer any other questions or comments that come through. Feel free to reach out to our group at contact@consultwebs.com. Again, that's contact, CONTACT, @consultwebs.com, or feel welcome just to simply scan this QR code. And we'd be more than happy to reach out to you and talk to you about email marketing. Thank you.